Hello, welcome to Let's Talk About It. Somebody's got to say it. I'm your girl, Lavonda, and today I want to talk about some more of my testimony. And I'm going to try to give you bits and pieces of the whole thing today to wrap this up because I have other topics to bring to you. You can see that I am wearing what you see is my prayer shawl. And today I'm wearing this because for me, it just doesn't represent prayer, but it represents the grace and the mercy that I was given to be able to endure the things that I've endured and the confidence to talk about it, to help somebody else. Because you don't have to be a product of your environment or your surrounding. And as I begin to talk today, this is my book. This is the book about my life that I've been given my testimony from. So, like I said, if you want to know the whole story, everything that is not covered, and let's talk about it, you can always get your copy of my book. It's available on Barnes & Noble, Amazon, Walmart.com. It's available on so many platforms. Last week, I talked about how I was molested and raped and how it caused me to do a lot of bad things and everything. And how I was helped to come out of that. And how at one point I thought I was healed, but I was still broken because I still had some broken places that I had not allowed God to heal. Well, today I want to talk about how those things that happened to me caused me to get out of control. As I told you, I went into a self-defense mode. Wouldn't let anybody get close to me. It caused me to start hanging out with drug dealers, becoming a drug dealer. Not just that. I began to do a bunch of hurtful things to a lot of people. I did. And if I get emotional, just overlook that because the person I am now, when I think about some of the things that I've done and how God spared my life and how I made it out, it's hard sometimes to believe that I was that person. But I thank God that I have learned today that all that happened to me because the devil wanted to steal my identity. He never wanted me to find out or learn who I was and who God chose me to be. And that's why I'm not afraid to tell my story anymore. I'm not afraid of the judgmental people. I'm not afraid of the people who gonna have something to say. I'm not even afraid of the people who may look at me funny. Because you know what? Half of them could survive 1/30th, not 1/3, 1/30th of what I would have been through and come out in their right mind. Or even still be here. Because when people actually read my book and they want to ask questions, I answer them for them. Because that's part of my journey. And it's to help somebody. So they don't have to be bogged down in their minds about that and thinking that that's all they are, or that's what they were made for, or why this and why that. You're not what you went through. I joined gangs. I went to jail. And even hearing when I was dealing drugs, they used to always say, don't use your product. That's a true fact. Don't use your products. Especially when you're broken and you don't know how broken you are. Because the enemy has a way of setting you up. I promise you he do. He has a way of setting you up for failure, death, and destruction. I even got to a place where I used men so bad. I mean, I literally was like I was their pimp. And they knew how to stay under control. I'm not proud of that now because of the damage that I see it caused to some of them. One even winded up in a mental institution. And another one even became a drug addict. You went from being successful owning a business to a drug addict, living at the Missions downtown in Memphis. And it was all because of my actions and my smooth talking and my lies to them. I said that part to say this. If you have somebody that loves you, make sure you're whole. So that you don't damage that person because you don't know how to receive love or be loved properly. Because it's not just your life that's at stake, it's somebody else's. Now going back to me finding God. I was dating this guy. And he used to smoke weed and I didn't because, that just was my forte. And one day he got me to smoking what you call a primo. This is my story of how I became addicted to drugs. See, when you take that weed and you lace it with that little white powder, that little crack rock, it wakes up something in the back of your mind that was lying dormant. And once you use it, you keep on wanting it. And it started getting so bad that I was strung out trying to hide it. I mean, I was out there. And people always say you need rehab, this, that, and that. I didn't need rehab because there's a higher source, a higher power than what a rehab can do. It may work for some people, but I didn't go down that road. See, an addict can't really just look at themselves in the mirror. They can't stand there and just look at themselves. So if you know somebody that's in denial, see if they can just stare at themselves without getting belligerent or talking crazy, want to fight. Oh yeah, you can look down for a minute, wash your face and all that and go on. But to really look at yourself, they can't do it. One day I went in the bathroom and I looked at myself. And I broke down crying because I knew I was smart, I was beautiful, I was intelligent. I had too many skills. And I just felt like there was more to me. I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, God, if you are real, I don't want to be like this anymore. Instantly, I was delivered. You know why? Because I went to him with a broken heart and a contrite spirit. And I surrendered it to him. And this year, 2026, I will be 36 years drug-free. I want to encourage somebody that's struggling. If you want to be free, go to him with a broken heart and a contrite spirit. He can do it, but you gotta want it. After he delivered me from that, I told this same boyfriend I wasn't doing that anymore. Then it came to a place, and this is how I met God. My boyfriend's mom had came to live with us. I didn't want it because he was telling me that she was saved. I didn't know what that was. Because when I was young, I was just going to church. I didn't know nothing about sanctification, some men sanctified, none of that. And my thing was, why can't she go live with your brother or your sister? You got two brothers and another sister. She gonna be messing up our business. Well, they don't have enough room. That was his response. I said, yeah, but she gonna be messing with my money. And I'm not with that. We argued about it. Finally, we came to okay, she can come stay. I said, but just tell her leave all that, whatever this stuff is you talking about sanctified, leave all that wherever she coming from. Got to a point. This lady came to our house. But today I thank God for her. She used to be praying all over our house, putting oil everywhere, open up a Bible on our table where we do business. And I closed it and I told her she need to keep that in her room. We didn't need all that in our house. When customers come, she would try to say something to them. I had to shut her down. It started making me feel the type of way I would really want to put the lady out. And she says to us one day, if y'all go to church with me, I'll leave y'all alone. And I told my boyfriend, we going to church with her because I need her to leave us alone. I asked her, I said, when the next time you go to church? She said, we in revival. We got revival tomorrow night. I told him, I said, well, we going to church with her tomorrow night so she can leave us alone. Because I'm sick of this. I'm sick of this. Not knowing what was in store for me. See, I had a plan. But my father had a different plan for my life. This is why you got to understand when things you're doing or trying to do, when they don't work, God is trying to protect you. He is divinely intervening on your behalf and you don't even know it. Half the people who are listening to this are probably still here because God had another plan and he intervened for you. So you can catch it now, or you can stay in what you're in until you decide to come to the end of yourself and let him take the lead. Other than that, you're going to keep going through the same thing over and over and over again, repeat cycles. At this point, though, in my story, I just wanted her gone. I went to revival with her that night, not knowing that I was going to meet this little bitty short man who thought he was about 6 feet tall. He didn't stand that tall at all to me. He was like maybe 5 feet, a little bit over 5 feet. But the way he jumped up on them pews, he thought he was a giant. He was preaching, and I was listening. I saw this lady go up there on a walker. And she came back without the walker. First, I thought it was one of them schemes like you used to be seeing on TV. Reverend Ike, all them with them little phony stuff. That was my mindset. Because I just didn't see somebody coming up on a walker and they said she had been on it for 10 years and all of a sudden she can put it down and start walking. I ain't believing none of that. And then this grandmother had her grandchild, a little child, about 2 or 3 years old, had been badly burned. Her body was crisp. He anointed the baby with blessed oil and all that stuff, prayed over the baby, and told her that in 2 days that baby was going to have brand new skin. I really didn't believe that because that's something they couldn't fake. So in my mind, I was like, I'm coming back because I got to see this. But after he talked to her, he came over there to me and shook his little finger in my face. No, I take that back. He told me to come down front because I was looking around. And he said, no need you looking around, I'm talking to you. In my mind, I'm like, oh man, you don't know nothing about me. You better go on about your business. I'm just coming so this lady can leave us alone. So to keep the people from staring at me, I got up and I went down there. That's when he shook his little finger in my face and said, you had better run for your life before you be dead. God want to use you. Now looking at here, now see this man. I'm like, okay, who? I'm looking around. I'm like, somebody in here telling this man all my business. And I thought it was the boyfriend mama. Little beknownst to me, she hadn't said a word. It was the Holy Spirit. I felt some kind of way and I was mad when I left out of there, but I still was going back. That was Wednesday and I went back that Friday night because I wanted to see, because I sure was going to have something to say. Fast forward, I went back and the baby had brand new skin. And I started to feel some type of way. I felt a nudging and a tugging on the inside. It was God trying to draw me in spite of my rebellion. So let me say this to you. When you feel something nudging inside of you, stop calling it your intuition. Stop saying something. It's called the Holy Ghost. And it's trying to keep you from making a bad or dangerous mistake that could be costly or detrimental to you. It's trying to protect you from something that may not even be worth it. So instead of ignoring it, embrace it. After that time I saw that, I began to go to church. I began changing my life. I left him, and I felt myself kind of trying to be pulled back into the same lifestyle. That's why I say you have to ignore people. Let them talk. Let them say what they want to say. You got to do what's best for you. Because in going through all that, God allowed me to get pregnant in the midst of the life I was living. I couldn't understand that. I was like, oh my God, I can't do no with no baby right now with the life I'm living. I was living a dangerous life. I was a dangerous person. I used to carry razor blades under my tongue. If you looked at me wrong, you could get your throat slit. But I realized God gave me that baby to save my life. And I really had to make a change. And that's when I decided to go into the military. I didn't make that easy either. But I'm not going to go into that part of my testimony, because that's going to be the conclusion in the next segment of Let's Talk About It. Somebody's got to say it. I thought I may be able to wrap my testimony up today, but I'm not, because there's a lot to unpack. But just know, when you think it's strange how some people come into your life and you're comfortable with the circle that you're in, understand this. God is bringing them in your life for a reason. Trust his process. And don't be so quick to write that person off because you don't know them. They may be the very person holding your lifeline, your change, your destiny in their hands. That may be the divine connection God is making for you to help push you to where you're trying to go, where in your mind you really want to go, but you don't know how to get there. And he may be removing the people that you're so comfortable with because they really don't have any relevance to where you're going or what you need to be doing. And they're just holding you down. So embrace the change when God brings it. Your spirit will feel it even if you don't. Even if you don't understand it, embrace it so that you don't have to stay in the struggle. And that's the reason that I'm giving my testimony, and I'm giving it in parts, because I want somebody to understand. I want somebody to not have to stay in the things that they're in as long as I did, because of rebellion, operating in the spirit of offense, being mad and angry and upset about everything. Because at this point, I was already mad and I was bitter. I was angry. I was hurt. Because I didn't trust people. I felt like everything and everybody that I loved always hurt me. Something always came up. And I had to shut it down. Because I didn't understand. I don't want you to be like me. I want you to get to where you're going faster than I got, because it took me a long time to embrace it. And my heart's desire is that it doesn't take you that long to embrace it. It doesn't take you that long to accept change. Because it took me 7 years just to get delivered from a fighting spirit, along with a whole bunch of other ones, but that was the one that it took me the longest to get rid of because of what I had been through. Like I said, I was in protective mode. It was all about me. I ain't worried about nobody else. I ain't worried about nobody's feelings, how I treated them, how I done them, because it was all about me. I don't want you to do like I did, especially if I can help you get there a lot quicker than I did. Thank you for tuning in to Let's Talk About It. Somebody's got to say it today. Tune in next week when I will be talking about meeting the saints, joining the army, and getting married. Still, all while being broken, hurt, mad, bitter, and angry. And again, if you have not gotten your copy of my book and you want to read the whole story, and a part 2 is coming, here you are again. Get your copy, because I'm not going to go over everything that's in the book. I'm going to give you the main things of my testimony to help you be free, because I'm free now, and I thank God that I'm free. And again, like I said, I'm living my best blessed life. Have a great day. And thank you again for tuning into Let's Talk About It. Somebody's got to say it. I'm your girl, Lavonda, and I'll see you next week. Have a great day.